Welcome back, all my 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation, and back by popular demand, the Canoptek Court returns. GW dropped the points, and so for all my cronies out here, we are bringing the Canoptek Court once again. I have had a lot of requests asking if I was going to run the Canoptek Court with all the point drops. And initially I was like, it's just a couple points here, a couple points there. But then when I actually went and started putting lists together, I realized how many different other things I wanted to do, but fell short by like 5 points or 10 points. And now having those, I was able to do a lot of different things in different combinations. So, fresh for chapter approved, we are bringing the Canoptek Court back. We're going to give this a try and see how this can do on the table with these new missions, new cards, new everything, and a new spin with some reduced points. Canoptek Court. Here it is. All right, here it is. The first iteration of my new Canoptek Court, the Canoptek Harvest, as I like to call it. So this is, I don't know, I think we're up to like version 4, version 5. But here it is, the Canoptek Harvest. We have, so first of all, the Canoptek Court itself. The special rule is we get reroll ones to hit. Then, if we are wholly within a control matrix, we get full rerolls to hit instead. This is only for Canoptek and Cryptek units, and a power matrix is established if I control at least half the objective markers in no man's land, the objective marker in my opponent's deployment zone, or am just in my home deployment zone. If those conditions are met, those areas are a power matrix. So my home's always, and then I have to control objective markers at the beginning of any phase to flip it into a power matrix. So super strong, super cool. And let's get into some of these super cool units. First things first, we got the Canoptek Doom Stalkers. These three bad boys got a little bit of a point reduction. Their ability is that they can fire Overwatch on a 5-up. Now the Canoptek, we heard some rumors, but nothing came true. So these guys can still have full rerolls to hit in Overwatch. It's a good solid gun, strength 16, AP 3, flat 3 damage. The AP3 can get reduced down, but thanks to nerfs to Armor of Contempt, not as viciously as it was before. So these guys are good, solid firing base for my backfield. They usually are hanging in my deployment zone, so they'll have the full rerolls to hit from that. And yeah, 4-up invuln, and usually at least a 6-up feel no pain, just to try and shrug a little bit of damage off when the spider is nearby. Then we started talking about, let's move into it now. Everyone knows I love my spiders. But I reduced it down a little bit for this list. I have 1 2-man and a single spider. The single spider, his job is simple. Hang out in the backfield, hold home field objective, do some zone out some stuff back there, and give the feel no pain to some backfield Doomstalkers in that rotation. The other 2 spiders, the 2-man, are going to be more on the aggressive push. They're going to move with another Doomstalker to get them moving out there, be able to give their feel no pain buff for mortal wounds to other units. Other units that don't have the feel no pain, such as the wraiths that already do, but to be able to get that feel no pain versus mortal and psychic weapons is really, really nice. Just that extra boost of defense. And then also fixing and repairing and putting scarabs back. Spoiler alert, we got scarabs. So that squad will probably be a little more aggressive, a little bit more aggressive. When I say a little bit more, I mean very, very little. Like they'll just be actually moving forward instead of the solo spider that might just drift lazily to the left and right to keep within range of the Doomstalkers to give them the feel no pain. They give a 6-up feel no pain to vehicles all the time, and any Necron unit, they give a 5-up feel no pain versus mortal and psychic attacks. So that's fairly nice. These guys have their particle beamer. That is 2 guns at D6 shots apiece with blast and also devastating wounds. And they smack in combat too. Being Canoptek units, they get that full rerolls to hit. So these guys are actually a lot more deadly than it usually seems out. Big reason I went away from the 6, I just don't feel like it's the time and the meta for them. Too easy to pick these guys up. They're one of the very few things that doesn't necessarily have that forefront durability where I'd be sinking the points into them with an invuln or something like that. So yeah, I felt it's not their time. Moving on, we have 2 6-man squads of wraiths. that are going to be led by Technomancers. So these guys, you got 4 wounds apiece, 3 up, 4 up, 5 up, feel no pain, toughness 6. They are tough. They are durable. These guys are able to get out on objectives, hold things down. Their Wraith Flight ability, moving over stuff and doing some mortal wounds. These guys are an all-purpose Swiss Army knife for the army. Very quick. Big part of them is being on the primary game. That's very strong for them. One of my Technomancers is coming with the enhancement to give his squad Infiltrate. So we will be able to get them in a little bit better position to move up the board. That's sometimes it's just to get them just outside my deployment zone to be in a better position behind a wall so they don't get shot at. Other times it's to get really up in my opponent's face. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the rates. I mean, they're fast. They're so durable. Love these guys. Moving on, we have, as I mentioned, 3 squads of Scarabs, 2 6-mans, and a 3-man. The 3-man is kind of just going to hang out in the backfield and kind of, zone out and just kind of keep my opponent from being able to deep strike in my backfield and do damage to me where I don't want them to, and just kind of be a screen. The other 2 are going to play off of a lot of the Canoptek buffs. Number 1, we have the spiders that can put models back into the unit on top of reanimations. You get 1 base per spider that's within range. So 2 spiders put back 2 bases, and if my 3rd spider is nearby, we can get 3 bases back. Unlikely, but that's how it works. Now, these guys have lethal hits, and out of Canoptek, we can get the full rerolls to hit. So these guys normally not that devastating, don't really do that much damage. But when you talk about lethal hits, these guys can hit way harder than a lot of people expect them to. Then you have the ability to blow them up for a couple mortal wounds. These guys can get real obnoxious real quick. These are also going to be an escort premise of one other big Cryptek, the big Cryptek daddy of them all, Illuminator Xeris. We are bringing Xeris. Now, while we don't have any battle line units in this army to benefit from his Armor of Contempt and +1 AP benefits, he's still I mean, when you look at what a Dreadnought costs, and he's like 45 more points than a Dreadnought, coming in at a whopping 165. Oh my. And then you go, but he's got that 2 up, which they have. He's got a 4 up invuln. He's got a 4 up feel no pain. And he's infantry, so he can walk through walls. And he's going to have lone op pretty much because he just needs to be within 3 inches of a Necron unit, and he's lone op. He's stupid durable. He is a Cryptek, so he will get the same reroll buffs that the rest of the army gets, which is kind of cool and kind of nice. Yeah, he's so cheap, and he's going to mess with those. He's going to be able to mess with the Scarabs in a lot of interesting ways, because since he's a Cryptek, he can give the Scarabs that +1 OC, or the OC1 that they get for being near him. And he can kind of control and zone stuff out with these silly little Scarabs that, while they'll be easy to clear them, they're still going to be annoying and in someone's way. And last is a new addition that we're taking today, something I'm very, very happy to see in action. We have 3 squads of Scorpek Destroyers. 1 is a 6-man and 2 is a 3. And I can already hear everyone going, why? Why are you taking a 6-man? Because I can't take 4 3-mans. And I want more Scorpek. Now, remember, this is the first iteration of this list, and there might be some changes later on. But what I'm looking at with the Scorpeks is I can put these 6-man in strategic reserve, and I can bring them on. Bringing a 6-man squad of Scorpeks on with a rapid ingress on a table edge, and then being able to move them the next turn could hit a threat and eliminate it. Some of these up-down armies that are like, oh, I'm just going to land here, being able to bring the Scorpeks in a decent position to then rush out and hit that thing that just landed could be pretty strong. Now, definitely want to do the 3, at least 3x3 of the Scorpeks. But we'll try the 6-man out, see how this goes. We got a lot of units that are able to do some actions and kind of cover the field that I can have this unit in strategic, since I really don't have much I don't have anything in reserve. So this unit can take that role. As far as the other 3-mans, these guys have been great on the guerrilla tactics that we've seen. I've played them this way. Lane's agreed with me. Playing these guys behind a wall, popping them out 8-inch charge, they hit very, very hard. They do really well for their point cost being relatively cheap, being very cheap. And these guys can also finish off some of those secondaries. With a lot of secondaries completing at the end of my turn, having these guys in a position to do that is really nice. They have no shooting, so that's the only things they're able to do. So it's just additional units. I can use the Scarabs for it, but the Scorpex look really nice in that way. Also, it's another way to put devastating wounds just to get around armor saves. So yeah, we're going to try the 6-man today. It's just a theory, but we'll see how it works out. And that's about it. That is the list. Okay, so like I said, the Scorpex, it's a trial and error thing. I think that there might be some play with Canoptek now. These new mission cards, a lot of people have said there was a lot of talk in regards to the challenge cards in our last matchup. With Canoptek Court, one of the things that I was having issues with, having issues running it before, was I was doing very well scoring, but one of two ways I wasn't able to inch enough points out far enough to keep it going. With this, with the challenge cards, I am actually building this list with the mentality that I don't have to be aggressive. I don't have to push out there. I can fall behind on secondaries and I can take challenge cards for the rest of the game. So yes, I am completely steering into the skid with this one and the challenge cards and seeing how that rolls out. Because that was one of the issues I was having before. I can do really well in primaries because of how durable the wraiths are. So I can get out there and hit and hammer some objectives early. Some armies can do that too and do it a little better. In those games, I was able to eliminate and get those primaries later, but I would end up falling short with a couple of points. So I feel like I'm going to stick to what works best with this army as a whole, not taking some of the other things like flayed ones or Ophidians to just score those secondaries and let the challenge cards pad that void. Especially with, there is some stuff like engage on all fronts and that would be nice to have those things for, having mobile units like that for, but we still do have some other speed. The Scorpex, the Wraiths, all these are fast moving units. So I feel like those are things that can play well. I'm trying to go through because there's a whole bunch of things with this that I've been thinking about with the whole mindset for this list. It's a lot of units and a lot of coverage still, especially with the Scorpex lore, the Scorpex being 3-man units. It's a lot of coverage, so I'm able to keep my field kind of under control and make it difficult for my opponent to get some of those easy secondaries as well. Not being able to just deep strike a unit and making them have to push into me and being able to hit them back and remove certain things. So having those Scorpex definitely boosts the damage. One thing that I noticed with the Wraiths as well too is Wraiths do a very good job of tying stuff up, but tend to not be able to push things back. So the Scorpex being able to then hit those things and help pull them off in a cavalry kind of way, hopefully that'll be enough. I was trying some stuff with like the Nightbringer and that before. I feel like the Scorpex will be able to do more actions and bases, and we'll see how that rolls. Now, like I said, long scheme of things, there are definitely some rooms to improve and move some stuff around. This is the first iteration for the second game of the new challenge card, chapter approved mission pack. So there's definitely going to be some stuff that afterwards I'm going to think, okay, might want to make some tweaks with this. But I'm actually starting to feeling kind of good about these, the Canoptek Court making a return and seeing how this works out. So we'll see. We'll see how this does. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.